Good morning, everyone. Today's gonna be slightly different. Mike and the kids are still asleep and it's almost 9 o'clock. The kids and I were battling this sickness last week, and I think Mike started getting sick yesterday, so he was pretty much in the bed all day yesterday and he was not feeling great this morning. So you get me. And Mike always has tons of projects going on the farm around here, but I am going to tackle one thing that I would like to have done, so I'll just do it myself right now. While we were gone, the weeds took over my flower garden beds. So I'm going to reclaim my flower garden today. I think I'm still getting over it from what I had, so I'm going to work in the shade this morning and I'm going to do what I can do, and then when that's done I'm going to go inside and I'm not going to feel bad about it because I want to get completely well. But that's what I'm going to work on today, and I'm bringing you guys along with me. The first thing I want to tackle is the poison ivy that keeps popping up around here. This is a new area that Mike cleared out for me this year, so we're still having to beat back the poison ivy. So I brought me some gloves, I got my long sleeve shirt on, and I actually have a bag to put over my glove to pull it with, because that's really the best way to get rid of poison ivy, is to pull it out. So I'm gonna work on that, and then when that gets pulled out, I'm gonna work on all this stuff that's just crowding out my flowers and find my walkways again. I would really like to have my walkways in my flower garden. Do any of you guys grow a flower garden, and how hard is it for you to keep the weeds at bay during the summertime? And sometimes I just lose the fight and I just let it go, but it's still early summer and I really want to grow a lot more flowers, so it's time to get to work. Well, I seem to have reclaimed the outside edge right through here, at least to a point where I could weed eat along the outside without fear of cutting my flowers down. So that's good. Now let me show you how much poison ivy I pulled out from over here. It was more than I actually thought. So there's a little pile there, and then over here, all this mess right there. That is all poison ivy. I don't get poison ivy very bad usually, but there was this one time when we lived in the city and I was cleaning out around this azalea bush, and it was the winter time, and I was really just pulling out all of these roots that were in there. Well, come to find out, they were all poison ivy roots, and my hands were covered. I looked like some warty old lady because they were blistered up so bad. So have you ever had an experience like that? What's your worst experience with poison ivy? Because mine wasn't fun, so that's why I gear up whenever I'm pulling this stuff out, even though I usually don't get it that bad, but I know the possibility is there. Well, now I'm done with this outside row. I want to work on that row right through there. It doesn't even look like there's a walkway, but there is a walkway in there. I know there's more poison ivy in there, so I have to stay alert so I don't go pulling it barehanded or anything. That's why I brought my gloves, but I just gotta watch out for it.
Pick up the dice, give it a roll. You never really know which way to go. Feel it inside, feel the spark, lift you up when you're falling apart. We think we know it all. We stand 10 feet small, with our head under ground. I think I've seen it all, that I've come so far, but it just got me high till I broke down.
Well, it still looks overgrown, but I've definitely made progress. You can see where I overplanted, but I am almost to the end of the row. And as I'm pulling out these weeds, it gives you a lot of time to think. You know, it does for me anyway. Does it for you? I think about all the weeds that you have to pull out of your mind to keep those from choking out the beautiful things in life. Just like these flowers, my flowers. I love them. They make me happy, and they're beautiful. And I have to remove these weeds so they don't, you know, dim the light of the flowers. So, you know, what weeds do you have to pull out and manage on the day-to-day basis? I know negative thoughts are one for me, and I have to just press forward and make sure I'm being positive, and that's what we try to do here. Make sure everybody has a positive attitude so their life will be filled with more flowers and less weeds. Okay, back to work. Well, I finally got to the end. It's not so much like a jungle anymore. So now I'm gonna take a little break and get me some water, because that's what you should do whenever you feel hot. Oh. Well, I'm part of the way done, and I'm gonna sit here and enjoy my flowers and listen to the buzzing of the bumblebees a little while, and then I'll work on another one, maybe. See, I had some kind of respiratory then I'm getting over. If I get too hot, I start coughing. So I think that's what, well, that is what the rest of the family's been dealing with too. Mike hasn't been coughing as much, but the kids have. So we're getting over that, and I think we're on the over the hump now, and everybody's getting better. But we're just trying to take it slow, and that's why we didn't have a video out yesterday. So I wanted to get one out today for you guys, because I know y'all start to worry whenever we miss videos.
I know as the daylight grows how I am supposed to feel, to make the same mistakes, to be part of something real.
Well, I'm gonna say my rest break is over, but before I start weeding some more, I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna harvest my calendula so I can dry it to make sure I have some to make the infused oils that I like to make. So I got my bowl, and I'm gonna show you how to harvest calendula. It's really easy. So I planted calendula on either side of this walkway. So here's some right here, and I'm just gonna pinch the top off just like that and put it in my bowl. I planted several different varieties of calendula. Actually, I just mixed up the seeds and planted them and just see which would come up. So I have probably about 5 varieties, and we'll see how many we can get. Here's another one. And the most medicinal properties are in just the heads of the flower. By the time I get done with this, I'm gonna have sticky fingers, because it's a really sticky substance that comes off of them whenever they're picked. Last year I planted these same varieties, but I planted them over in another bed which had way more sun. So last year they got a lot bigger, and these are really tiny this year. So it just goes to show you, like all the grass growing up, it was shading these out, and I probably planted them too close together to the zinnias. But I'm still getting some, even though it's not as big of blooms as I did last year. And you also want to continue to take the blooms off, because that encourages the plant to send out more blooms, and you'll get more throughout the season. And they will flower all summer long. I was getting calendula all the way into the fall last year. So keep picking the blooms and dehydrating them, and so you have them to use later. Well, that's not as many as I hoped to get, but not super surprising considering how many spent heads I saw in there that have already went to seed. So I'm just gonna keep picking maybe every day or every other day until I have a whole bunch. So now I think I'm gonna put these over here in the shade, and I'm gonna start back weeding this other row. Wish me luck. Well, I got just over half of this row, if you can see, done, and I think I'm gonna call it quits out here for a while, and take these calendula in and go dehydrate them. But on my way, I'm gonna stop and get some yarrow too, because I'm gonna need some yarrow, and I'll just fill up the dehydrator as much as I can. So, done with weeding. Oh, it's hot. And I'm sweating, I don't know if you can see. So I don't want to get too hot and start coughing. Oh wow, I had forgotten I had some more calendula over here, so I'll just harvest this too. It's always nice whenever your flowers reseed themselves and you don't even have to plant them the next year. So I have those, and now I'm going to get yarrow blooms. Whenever you harvest yarrow, you want the blooms, so the summer is the perfect time of year to do that. This is yarrow right here, and we're just gonna cut these blooms off. And while I'm here, I'm also going to harvest some comfrey leaves. This is my comfrey right here, and I am just going to pull leaves off, just like this. We're going to dehydrate these as well. You want nice looking leaves, not ones that have been like eaten up by bugs or turning brown or yellow. See, like stuff like that, you don't want that. But that one, it's nice and pretty. You want that. Okay. So I have some more yarrow down here. I'm gonna see if I can get some more off of this plant, and I have more comfrey that's easier to get here, and also some plantain because I want some of that too. Well, my yarrow doesn't look super good over here, so I'm not gonna worry about that. So I'll just work on some more comfrey. Oh, I have a big old plantain right here, and a ton in this bed, so I'm just gonna start harvesting this too. Well, that's it for now. Take these in, cool off, and put these in the dehydrator. Well, I went inside to put all the stuff in the dehydrator, but Mike and the kids are cleaning up inside. I guess they're just staying in since they don't feel so great, but they are getting things done in there, and I just didn't have room to do it inside. So I'm gonna bring it out here to the wash and pack station, and I'm gonna load up my dehydrator. And this part is really easy. All you do is take your leaves, spread it out over your trays really evenly, and then turn it on. And there it is right there. It's that easy to dry your own calendula, yarrow, plantain, and comfrey, and they're all really great healing herbs that you can grow on your homestead with very little effort at all. So I'm gonna get these started, stack them up, turn them on, and I'm actually gonna dehydrate them outside to leave the heat outside and keep our air conditioner cool on the inside. So I'm just stacking them to make sure they sit nice on top of one another and they're not wiggly, so all that hot air stays in when they're drying. That one's looking a little sad. We'll take that one out. Topped our dehydrator, plug that in, turn it on. Well, now I'm officially done. I'm gonna head back inside, take care of them, probably cook them some food, and hopefully by tomorrow everybody will be better and back at it, and y'all have Mike again instead of me. So I hope you guys have had a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.